Hajj, the Pilgrimage by Dr Ali Shariati, translated by Ali A. Bazdania and Najla Dani. There have been in addition some very few changes to this translation in order to modernize and to make the language more palatable in a very few places. About the author. Dr. Ali Shariati was born in Mazandan, a suburb of Mashhad, Iran. He completed his elementary and high school in Mashhad. In his years at the Teachers Training College, he came into contact with youth who were from the lower economic strata of society, tasted poverty and hardship that existed. At the age of 18, he started as a teacher and ever since had been a student as well as a teacher. After graduating from college in 1960 on a scholarship, he pursued graduate studies in France. Dr. Shariati, who was an honor student, received his doctorate in sociology in 1964. When he returned to Iran, he was arrested at the border and imprisoned on the pretext that he had participated in political activities while studying in France. Released in 1965, he began teaching again. Soon he was pursued again. Because of his popularity, the regime felt obliged to discontinue his course at the university. He was transferred to Tehran, where soon he was arrested for giving his lectures at the Hussein al-Irshad Religious Institute. He wrote various books. The first edition of his book ran over 60,000 copies, which were quickly sold out. And he was arrested again. Popular pressure and international protest obliged the Iranian regime to release Dr. Ali Shariati in March 20th, 1975. However, he remained under close surveillance by the security agents of Iran. Dr. Shariati studied and experienced many philosophical, theological, and social schools of thought with an Islamic view. He was neither a reactionary fanatic who opposed anything that was new without knowledge, nor was he the so-called westernized intellectual who imitated the West without any independent judgment. Dr. Shariati wrote many books. Some of his works are listed at the end of this book. More information can be found about the author on the Sociology of Islam, translated by Hamid Algar. Dr. Ali Shariati was martyred under suspicious circumstances in the UK in the late 70s. The introduction to the book. What has the experience of Hajj taught me? First, one must ask, what does Hajj mean? In essence, Hajj is man's evolution towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his creator. It is a symbolic demonstration of the philosophy of creation of Adam. To further illustrate this, it may be stated that the performance of Hajj is a simultaneous show of many things. It is a show of creation, actual creation, a show of actual history, a show of actual unity, a show of the Islamic ideology as it should be, and a show of the Ummah. The following conditions prevail in this show, so to speak. Allah, the Creator, is the one who dictates the ritual, is the one who has invited you, is the one who you have to seek to reach. The theme portrayed is the actions of the people involved, including Adam, Abraham, Hazrat Hajra, and Satan. These are the main characters. The scenes are Masjid al-Haram, the Haram area, Masa, Arafat, Mashar, Mina. Important symbols are the Kaaba, Safa, Marwa, day, night, sunshine, sunset, idols, and the ritual of sacrifice. The clothing and makeup are ihram, halq and taksir. Lastly, the player of the roles in this show is only one, and that is you. Regardless of whether you are a man or a woman, young or old, black or white, you are the main feature of this performance. The role of Adam, Abraham, and Hajar, the confrontation between Allah and Satan, you must play this. As a result, You individually are the one who must walk in these footsteps, and you, so to speak, should become the hero of the show. Annually, Muslims from all over the world are encouraged to participate in this great Hajj. Everyone is considered equal. There is no discrimination on the basis of race, sex, or social status. In accordance to the teachings of Islam, all are one, and one is all. The one who restores somebody's life has restored the life of all, and the one who kills one has killed all. Yet the enemies of Islam continue to deliberately wage a campaign against Islam. They attack it by denying that Islam recognizes the human being as an individual endowed with special rights and values. In terms of the concept of Hajj, it is relegated to the status of a duty, which has very little significance. This is not so. As Imam Ali, who was born in this very Kaaba and is known as the son of the Kaaba, says, as if Islam is a lamb fur coat that is put on inside out. What have I personally learned from Hajj, me being so little and Hajj being so great in meaning? How far and what could I see from this experience? The following pages are a product of my humble efforts to answer these questions. My purpose is not to inform the reader what must be done during Hajj. This can be attained by referring to the book of rituals. Instead, I want to share with you my perceptions of the significance of Hajj. They should help you to understand why it is incumbent upon Muslims to perform this duty, and yes, it is a wajib duty, or at least motivate you to think about Hajj. Yours, Dr. Ali Shariati. First chapter. Rejecting an empty philosophy. Life today, not life as it should be carried on, is an idle, cyclical action, a movement with no goal, a meaningless pendulum. Action starts with the day only to end at night, and the night starts only to disappear at dawn. In the meantime, man is busy watching the play of these black and white rats who chew the strings of our life until we die. Life as we live it is like a theatre. Man watches these aimless nights and days. Indeed, what a foolish play is conducted. When you are in need, you hope and struggle to overcome your needs. Yet once you achieve this, you view your past efforts humorously. What a senseless philosophy to live by. Living on a day-to-day basis, the person lacks direction. His aim is only to live. What exists, in actuality, is a dead spirit in a living body. However, the Hajj experience alters this unhealthy condition. Once you decide to perform Hajj and take the necessary steps, you are on the road to actualization of Hajj. Before going to Hajj, you reside in your home, calm and reposed. Upon entering the state of mind for Hajj, you arise and move away from your routine environment. Hajj is the antithesis of aimlessness. It is the rebellion against a damned fate guided by evil forces. The fulfillment of Hajj will enable you to escape from the complex networks of puzzles. It will make things easy for you. This revolutionary act will reveal to you the clear horizon and free way to migration to eternity, towards the Almighty Allah, your Creator. Depart from your home and visit Allah's house, or the house of the people. You, whoever you are a man, Adam's son, and a representative of Allah on earth. You are Allah's creation, one aspect of your relation. Another is that you are Allah's trustee, His master of nature and a student of Allah. Allah taught you the names. He made you from His spirit and endowed you with special qualities. You were praised by Him. His angels even prostrated to you. Yani Adam al-Islam. This earth and everything in it was made available to man. Allah became your companion with you at all times and watching all of your actions. Are you living up to His expectation? Ask yourself, Are you living up to his expectation? The Prophet, peace be upon him and his purified family, said, Allah is in the hearts of the believers. And the Holy Quran tells us, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, thus Allah knoweth those who are sincere, knoweth those who feign. Quran 29:3. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and that Allah may know him who helpeth him and his messenger, though unseen. Quran 57:25. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, lo, we have placed all that is in earth as an ornament thereof, that we may try them, which of them is best in conduct. Quran 17:7. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, who hath created life and death that he may try you, which of you is best in conduct, and he is the mighty, the forgiving. Quran 67:2. With the passage of time and the influence of various forces of the social system, which disregard human rights and duties, your character has been changed. The vicissitudes of life have affected you to the degree that you become alienated, neglectful, distracted. Originally, with Allah's spirit in your heart, you were supposed to shoulder the responsibility of being Allah's trustee on earth. You were granted time as a means for fulfilling this task, but you have failed because the gift was used carelessly. Allah says in the Quran, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, wal asr, by the declining day, by time, lo, man is in a state of loss. Quran 103, verses 2-3. This is what is called life, but realistically speaking, what has been accomplished? What constructive contributions have you made? What have you gained in life? So many precious years have already been lost. Do you want to lose more? Who are you? O trustee and vicegerent of Allah on earth, you have turned to money, sex, greed, aggression, and dishonesty. You have regressed to the inferior status that you occupied before Allah Almighty Subhanahu wa Ta'ala blew His Spirit into you. Where is that Spirit of Allah now? O man, rise out of the decadent situation. Divorce yourself from this gradual death. Leave your surroundings, be courageous, and go to the Pure Land with hope. There you may face Almighty Allah under the inspiring sky of Mahshar. The estrangement which you have experienced will be overcome. At last you will find yourself. Chapter Reaching Towards Allah. Hajj occurs during the high respected month of Zul Hijjah. The land of Makkah is tranquil and peaceful. Instead of fear, hatred, and war, the desert is characterized by security and peace. An atmosphere for worship, where people are free to face Almighty Allah, is prevalent. Do you not hear Abraham's command? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and call upon the people for Hajj. They will come to you on their bare feet or riding any weak camel, and they come to you from every far desert. Quran 22-27. You, O mud, search for and follow the Spirit of Allah. Accept His invitation. Leave your home in order to see Him. He is waiting for you. Human existence is frivolous unless one's aim is to approach the Spirit of Allah. Separate yourself from all those needs and greed which distract you from Allah. Therefore join the eternal human migration to Hajj. Try and countenance Allah with your heart. Someone once asked Imam Ali alayhi salam, and this is a beautiful sermon in Nahjul Balagha, have you seen Allah? And he replied words to the effect, with my heart I have. Before departing to perform Hajj, all of your debt should be paid. Your hates and angers towards relatives or friends must disappear. A will must be drawn. All of these gestures are an exercise in the preparation for death, which will overtake everyone some day. These acts guarantee your personal and financial clearance. The last moments of farewell and the future of man are symbolized. Now you are free to join eternity on the day of resurrection, when you can do nothing in Allah's court, where your eyes, ears and heart are the best witnesses of what you have done. Bismillah Rahman Raheem. You and every organ of your body are responsible for your deeds. While you are in this house of correction, get ready for the house of justice. Exercise death before you die. Go to Hajj. Writes Dr. Ali Shariati, Quran 1736, as his translation. Hajj represents your return to Allah, the Absolute, who has no limitation and none is like him. To return to him signifies a definite movement towards perfection, goodness, beauty, power, knowledge, value, and facts. On your way toward the eternal, you will never approach Allah. He is to guide you in the right direction and not to be your destination. Islam is different from what some Sufis believe it to be. A Sufi lives in the name of Allah and dies for the sake of Allah. But an everyday Muslim strives to approach Almighty Allah. The former, if accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is not a bad thing. But the latter, as Almighty Allah Himself says, Bismillah Rahman Raheem, to Allah we belong and to Him is our return. All affairs tend towards Allah. Quran 2156, 42, 53. Is our goal. Our goal is not to perish, but to bloom. This is done not for Allah, but rather to bring us towards Him. Allah is not so far away from you, therefore try to reach Him. Allah is closer to you than yourself. We are nearer to Him than His jugular vein. Bismillah Rahman Raheem. We are nearer to Him than His jugular vein. Quran 50:16. On the other hand, everyone besides Allah is too far to be reached. O man, all the angels prostrated to you, yet through the passage of time and societal influence you have changed greatly. You have not abided by your promise to worship none but Almighty Allah. Instead, you have become, so to speak, a slave, if you don't mind me saying so, of idols, some of which are man-made. In an assembly of truth, Bismillah Rahman Raheem, in an assembly of truth in the presence of the Sovereign Omnipotent, Quran 55:54. Your nature is characterized by loyalty to other individuals, self-devotion, cruelty and ignorance, a lack of direction, fearfulness and greediness. What did I just say? Your nature, ask yourself how these apply to you. Your nature is characterized by loyalty to other individuals. How does this apply to you? Self-devotion, how does this apply to you? Cruelty, how does this apply to you? And ignorance, a lack of direction, fearfulness, and greediness. This life has caused you to acquire animalistic traits. Now you are like a wolf, or a fat fox, or a rat, or a sheep. Imam Jafr Sadiq al-Islam has summed this up. He says, "O man, you are your own doctor, your own physician, because meaning you know yourself the best. And you have the cure. You know your cure, i.e. what's best suited to cure you." One interpretation. O man, return to your origin, go to Hajj, and visit your best helper, your best companion, the one who created you, the one who has always been there for you. You as the best creature. He's waiting to see you. Leave the palaces of power, the treasuries of wealth,
and the misleading temples. Dismember yourself from the flock of those animals whose shepherd is the wolf himself. Join the flock of Mayad, who's going to see the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or the house of the people. Entering mikat and becoming one. Hajj begins at mikat. At this point, you, the actor, mankind, must change his clothes in this show. Why? Because one's attire covers the person as well as his character. In other words, an individual doesn't wear clothes, but rather the clothes cover him. They wear him. Clothes symbolize pattern, preference, status, and distinction. They create superficial borders which cause separation between people. In most cases, separation between people gives birth to discrimination. Furthermore, the concept of I, not we, emerges. I is used in the context of my race, my class, my clan, my group, my position, my family, my values, and not I as a human being, an individual. So many borders have been created in our lives. The descendants of Cain, the executioners, and the cruel split Adam's family and mankind's unity into many parts and factions. What resulted were the following relationships: master and servant, oppressor and oppressed, colonialness and the colonized, exploiter and exploited, strong and weak, rich and poor, nourished and malnourished, honored and dishonored, happy and unhappy, noble persons and lay persons, civilized and uncivilized, Eastern, Western, Arab, and Ajam, etc., etc., etc. Humanity is divided into races, nations, classes, subclasses, groups, and families. Each one has its own distinct status, values, names, honors, even symbols and emblems. And for what? All this just to show oneself, but under so much makeup, plastered in makeup. Now take off your clothes. Take off this makeup. Leave them at mikat. Wear the kafan, the shrouds of death, which consist of plain white material. You will be dressed like everyone else's. See the uniformity appear. Be a particle and join the mass, a drop in the ocean. Enter this ocean. Don't be proud. You are not here to see somebody, but be humble. You will be seeing Allah. This is your meeting with Him. Be the one who realizes his mortality, or a mortal who feels his existence and his smallness. At mikat, regardless of your race or tribe, you must stuff off all that covers you, all the covers you wore in your daily life, as a wolf, say, symbolizing fierceness and oppression, a rat symbolizing slyness, a fox symbolizing craftiness, or a sheep symbolizing slavery, lack of questioning, dumbness. Leave all these in mikat and assume your original shape as man. Just one. Adam, as you will be at the end. As one dead, wrap yourselves in two pieces of cloth. One covers your shoulders and the other goes round your waist. No special style or material is used. It is made of very plain and simple fabric. Everyone is wearing the same outfit, ihram. No distinction in appearance are visible. The caravans from all over the world which are travelling to Hajj will congregate at mikat. They will meet at the same time, at the same place. On his way to Allah, man is not just to be, but he is to become what he should be. Bismillah Rahman Raheem, and unto Allah is the journeying. Quran 24:42. How wonderful! Everything is moving, evolution, death and life, life and death, contradiction, change and direction. Bismillah Rahman Raheem. Everything will perish save his countenance. Quran 28:88. Bismillah Rahman Raheem. Every day he exercises universal power. Quran 55:29. And Allah is the absolute being, perfect and eternal. Hajj is also a movement. Man decides actively to return towards Allah. All of his egos and selfish tendencies are buried at mikat. Zuhalifa. He witnesses his own dead body and visits his own grave. Man is reminded of the final goal of his life. He experiences death at mikat and a resurrection, after which he must continue his mission in the desert between mikat and miyad. The scene is like the day of judgment itself. From one horizon to the other, a flood of white appears. All the people are wearing the kafan. No one can be recognized. The bodies were left in mikat and the souls are motivated and moved here. Names, races and social status do not make a difference in this great combination. An atmosphere of genuine unity prevails. It is a human show of Allah's unity, Tawheed. Fear and pleasure, excitement and charm, perplexity and rapture all appear in miniature particles in a magnetic field. Allah is in its center. Only man shows himself. He is situated in one direction, which is towards Allah. In this desert, all the nations and groups merge into one tribe. They face one Kaaba. Once you remove your clothes and all the signs which distinguish you as an individual, you may enter into the heart of the crowd in a state of ihram. Try to forget the things that remind you of life. Everyone melts himself and assumes a new form as mankind, or should do. The egos and individual traits are buried. The group becomes people or an ummah. All the eyes have died in mikat. What has evolved is we. By the time you leave mikat, you should be integrated into the ummah. This is what Abraham did. You are also supposed to act like Abraham. Bismillah Rahman Raheem. Lo, Abraham was a nation obedient to Allah, by nature upright, and he was not of the idolaters. Quran 16:120. At last, one is all, and everyone is equal. At last, one is all, and all is one. Everyone is equal. The society of polytheism is converted into one monotheism of Tawheed. This is the Ummah, or the society which is onto the right path. It should be a society which is perfect, active, and led by Islamic leadership, Imamat, in its ideal form. Everyone performing Hajj has turned away from himself to face Allah. He has been endowed with spirit of Allah. You have gone from an exile to the hereafter. You have been exposed to the absolute facts. You have overcome ignorance and oppression and have been enlightened by consciousness and justice. You have rejected polytheism and adopted monotheism. Previous to the performance of Hajj, the people neglected their human quality. They were alienated by power, wealth, family, land, and race. Their life was only in the context of mere existence. Finally, the experience of Hajj allowed them to achieve self-discovery. Now they perceived each other collectively as one and individually as a man. Nothing else, an individual. A man. Muhammad and Wali Muhammad. نعم المصير.